Alright, what's going on, guys? It's Tremaine here, the most disciplined day trader on YouTube. Going long here in NASDAQ using a suspension block, which is this fair value gap here with a volume imbalance at the bottom, volume imbalance at the high. Alright, so re-entry long here. As you saw earlier in the clip, got stopped out on my first attempt. So I'm looking to see if I can still reach for that daily fair value gap and then that buy side again at 24,860. I'm expecting majority of that fair value gap to stay open, which is, this is a 30-second chart by the way, but I'm expecting majority, that, if not all of this imbalance to remain unfilled. We can trade down into it. I don't think it's likely to do that, so I'm using a close proximity entry here. But if it does trade down into that imbalance, it's no big deal. That's what I would have used as an entry. But just to make sure I participate in the price run higher, I'm long one contract, stop loss beneath the fair value gap. This candlestick's low because again, I'm not expecting a full repricing into that range. And still looking for all the same objectives as I was on my first attempt. I'm watching to see if NASDAQ can get above this swing high because I'll use this up close candle as a bullish breaker. So we have this low, higher high, lower low that runs out the stops, including mine. So once to get above this swing high, I'm watching the entire range of these last two up close candles, but mainly this last beefiest up close candle here. Most of the sensitivity is going to be found in that last up close candle for breakers. Everything still applies as far as when I'm moving my stop to break even and whatnot. Should we reach that buy side at around 24,860, stop loss gets moved to break even. If I like it, if it looks good. One thing I do like now is that we're inside of a macro, 950 to 1010. So I'm expecting price to start spooling inside of this 20-minute interval towards 24,960. So 950 to 10. Oh, I can't really do 1010. Close enough right there because this is a 30-second chart. Actually, I should be able to, right? Yeah. I'm tripping. There you go. There's your macro. I'm open to adding another contract, but I really want to trail my stop loss first before I consider adding. Now, if we tag that buy side at 24,860 and I'm still only long one contract, then that's it. I missed it. We're too far expanded for me to want to buy more at that point. So now I'm watching the bullish breaker, this last up close candle, and the inversion fair value gap here. Oh, hello. Now this is the part where whenever I'm streaming in Discord, I always tell people watching that first loss I took prior was around $900 or so. If you're a little uneasy holding trades, if that makes you uncomfortable, you can close your trade right here. It didn't hit the buy side yet. It didn't reach for that daily fair value gap. but you can close your position right here, and there it is. You recoup your previous drawdown, and you just tape read to see if it wants to expand towards your targets. But a lot of times when people take that first loss and they're in that second trade, they're a little nervous because they don't want to lose again. And when that second trade is panning out, they're like, man, I could just close it, but I don't know, should I let it run? But my first trade was a loss. So if you ever get that queasy, uneasy feeling, just close it. Close it for, small gain, or like I lost 900 on my first attempt. As soon as I make 900 on this trade, close it. And then you just tape read, and then you build confidence that way. But that's what I used to do for months and months after taking a loss. Just make enough money to recoup that, and then start off with a clean slate. But at this point now, I'm more comfortable just letting that second trade run, especially if I'm confident in the drawn liquidity. It's no big deal. So now at this point in time, the price is way too expanded for me to want a pyramid, but I love the feedback we're getting. Inversion fair value gap. This candle opens, trades down, taps the high, and that's when we saw that beautiful displacement. And if I did have more than one contract on, I would take a partial at that buy side we just tagged into. But I'm actually expecting it to expand beyond that. Again, in Discord, in our pre-market analysis, I highlighted 24,960 as a draw. That's really what I'm looking for. And then on regular trading hours, we have buy side resting at 24,967. If you go to your 5-minute chart, NASDAQ regular trading hours, December contract, 24,967. That buy side that forms Thursday, 1:15 p.m. That has my focus. And I'm aiming for 3,970 P&L because I just want to make enough to recoup that previous loss. I'm looking for 3,000 today. That's the number I want. And then that'll be about $20,000 this week. It's pretty good. If price can expand just a little bit more, I'll trail my stop to break even. I'm allowing it to trade down into this bullish breaker. That's why I'm not being ultra aggressive, moving my stop to break even. $500, that's nothing in terms of risk. That's less than 0.5%. So not trying to be too demanding. I'm letting it trade down into the breaker. Should have want to do so. Don't want to take myself out of a good trade because you're scared to lose money. The risk is managed. I trailed my stop loss up. I cut my risk by more than half on this trade. So you submit to it. Flipping through my time frames, 5-minute, 4-minute. We have a 4-minute BISI, 3-minute, 2-minute, 1-minute. You only see a 30-second chart here, but I'm looking at all the other PD arrays that form on all the other time frames. And I'm thinking about adding one more. We're back beneath that buy side, and we're trading into imbalances on the sub 4-minute chart. It's a good time to pyramid. I'm watching this fair value gap here. Again, I'm allowing it to trade to the breaker. That's not going to be a pyramid for me, but if we trade to the breaker, inversion fair value gap, and we get some nice displacement off of it, then I'm going to look to buy one more. I like how it's giving me another opportunity to add. Because again, my focus is that daily fair value gap, that red fair value gap at 24,960. So there's the inversion fair value gap, and we're trading inside the breaker. And if we form a tail, like a little wick, and we start moving higher, that's going to be my market order. Let's put midpoint of this on here so we can observe that. And again, I'm looking to buy on the up move, letting it trade down into the breaker. And for the breaker, I'm looking at these two consecutive up close candles. That's one continuous breaker. Low, high, lower low. And that's my pyramid entry. As we're trading back to the high of the inversion fair value gap, I'm adding one more. Risk is minimal. And you can see the potential reward is very attractive. I love how this is looking. I love how it gave me another opportunity to add my contract, because I did want to build this up. And I know I'm going to get a lot of comments. I already have been getting a lot of comments, like on Tuesday. I thought you said you were done for the week. When I say I'm done for the week, I'm done trading my normal leverage, risking $1,500, $1,300, whatever the case may be. So let's say I had a good start to the week, Monday, Tuesday, right? I'm done heavy trading. But the past 2 days, I've just been trading one contract. Now, I'll pyramid and add another contract later. But that's what I mean when I say I'm done for the week. I'm done trading, opening up a position with 3 contracts, then pyramiding 2, then adding 1. I'm long 10 contracts at the end of the position. That's not what I mean when I say I'm done trading. Done trading means I'm falling back to one contract. If I like a pyramid entry, I'll add another one. But that's what I'm referring to. Trailing my stop loss up beneath consequent encroachment of the inversion fair value gap. Again, I'm not in a rush to move it to break even or jam it to break even. My stop loss is the least of my concerns right now. I'm looking at the feedback and how we're delivering. Drawing liquidity, all that stuff was shared in Discord earlier. So we should all be on the same page on where I'm looking for price to gravitate towards. Now, if we clear out this short-term high, then I'll expect expansion. And then, and only then, would I feel comfortable moving my stop to break even. Because once we clear this high, I'm expecting us to really step on the gas and reach for 24,960. And just for the sake of completeness, my limit order is going to be exactly at 24,960. gonna take a partial. Let me look at S&P. S&P and Dow are looking a little questionable. It's one thing I don't like if I'm bullish in NASDAQ, and if S&P and Dow are looking like they're struggling to go higher, then that encourages me to take a partial. So now I'm saying, I may want to peel one off above this short-term high, which I think is what I'm going to do. I still think it's likely to trade up into 24,960, but with other markets looking a little weak, as much as I would love to do a full pull, and that return would be very handsome, you have to look at other markets and look at the feedback they're giving you. So I'm going to have my trigger finger on the market sell button. Above the minor buy side liquidity pool. I like how, as of right now, we're leaving majority of this imbalance unfilled. If we completely reprice that in or close past consequent encroachment, if we start seeing stuff like that, the NASDAQ is telling me that it's not as bullish as I would want it to be. So I'm using all of that as feedback on real live order flow without any other fancy order flow, depth of market, and all that stuff. I don't even know how that stuff works, to be honest. Keeping a very close eye on S&P and Dow. Taking a partial there. S&P and Dow are stalling a little bit too much for my liking. It's just kind of an experience thing, and I wanted to make sure my partial is above that buy side, that 15-minute buy side liquidity pool, which is right at that buy side. And I'm going to completely remove my risk now because I've taken a partial and I've banked something. The last thing you want to do is take a partial and then have open risk and then give back what you made on that partial. And again, that whole logic of closing something early is just looking at looking at S&P and looking at Dow and their underlying weakness. Doing a full pull, I was losing confidence in it because other markets weren't really agreeing as much as I would like. Doesn't mean it still can't reach up into 24,960, but you have to kind of decipher when it's best to hold and when you should be more conscious and mindful of taking partials. Doing some Discord things here while NASDAQ decides if it wants to run out the minor buy side. Truthfully, I would prefer my stop underneath this swing low, but because my stop is at break even, or because I took a partial, I have to keep my stop at break even. So my last line of defense here would obviously be the fair value gap. But closing past consequent encroachment, does that kill the narrative for higher prices? not necessarily, but completely repricing in this imbalance. And then you look at Dow and ES, and those markets are looking a little weak. Those are two factors that, encourages me to be risk off with my stop and just submit to the trade idea. Now, if I do get taken out at break even, don't know if I'll be done for the day. I'm pretty much sitting, let's see. That was around, wow, that's almost 100 points on a 30-second chart. So 20 times 80, what is that? 1,600, something up $900 or so, which is solid. We'll just see. It depends. Just playing it by ear, whether or not I want to look for something else this morning, assuming I get taken out at break even here. Talking to the members right now. Nice displacement. Stop loss stays where it's at until we get above that high a little bit more meaningfully. That right there, if I didn't take a partial already here, this run on the buy side, that is absolutely a partial, because what is this? Relative equal highs. That's what ICT calls running down equity. So if I didn't pay myself above the buy side liquidity pool when we were chased down, identify the relative equal highs and trade back up, that's where you peel something off. So if I have, let's say, like 10 micros on, I'll take off 2 or 3 here. And then between my anticipated target and the buy side around this region, take off another 2 or 3 and then see if you can get that. Beautiful delivery. And I'll go ahead and do that there. And I am content with that right there. I wanted $3,000 today so I can be up 20K for the week, and I'm happy with that. That's all she wrote. So taking a loss to start off the morning session. One contract going back in. We were not expecting this fair value gap to be traded to, so I'm using a close proximity entry. Discord members, we covered that in our latest breakdown. Adding one more as a pyramid entry. I love this. Taking a partial above the buy side, and then there you go. All right, and here you can see the business, all the entries, including the loss. getting caught offside, allowing us to make a lower low, trading into the daily fair value gap, buying one, trailing stop, buying another, partial, and then aiming for that weekly goal. TradeStation, real regulated broker. You can see the connected green dot. There's the P&L. A lot of people care about this stuff. Market open, all that good stuff. All right. That's all she wrote. Hopefully you found this one insightful. Discord members, I'll see you all in the live stream Tuesday morning at 9:15. We're going to have a more in-depth breakdown, market review for today's price action, so be on the lookout for that. And I hope you all, including YouTube, have an amazing weekend, a restful weekend, and I'll talk to y'all soon. All right? Peace.